Yeah, it's pretty important.
Okay, so you say you have difficulty following these subtle changes. And so naturally, that is going to be difficult just when jumping into it out of the blue. But two approaches to be able to get a finer or stronger focus on the subtle changes. One is that you strengthen the power of samadhi or concentration by using a very simple object and just sticking with that object. So that could be simply the basic mode of doing a mindfulness of breathing, just following the whole in breath, the whole out breath, not paying attention to the subtle changes, but trying to get the breath as smooth as possible. Just follow it as smoothly as possible. Then when the concentration is stronger, then you can turn to look at the subtle changes taking
Hmm.
place. So that's one approach. The other approach, maybe this is a rougher or maybe more difficult approach. You just, even though it's difficult, but you stay with following, trying to follow the subtle changes. And when you're doing this, like in a retreat setting, like hour after hour, day after day, then the ability to follow the subtle changes increases, improves, till you can just really just ride with them. And
Mm.
then you can start following them at subtler and subtler levels. Like I compare this to when we were kids, we would get like for Christmas the microscope, which would have like 3 degrees of magnification, like 100 degrees, 300 degrees, 500 degrees.
Mm.
So you start off like observing the subtle changes at 100 degrees, but as the concentration gets stronger, then you're able to
Mm.
follow them at like with 300 degrees magnification. Then as the concentration gets still stronger, then you could follow them at like 500 degrees magnification. And when that
That's
happens,
great,
then
Bhante.
the whole field of experience, not just the breath, but everything is just seen as in this process of arising and passing away.
Thank you, Bhante. That was perfect. Thank you.
Okay, next will be Eva Chu. Eva Chu.
I think and is the next one.
Oh, okay. I'm just judging from where I see them on. Okay, so Sumina can go then.
Bante, I when I I I don't know if you will meditate laying down, Bante, but I'm find it's very difficult laying down and meditate, and I fall asleep after 15 minutes, and I don't know, is there a way that I can do that, I can follow the breath
Yeah,
without falling asleep, Bante?
yeah. You have some difficulty sitting up now because of
Yeah, I still
because of the surgery that you had.
no, I still my spine injury. I can't sit
Oh,
much. Yeah,
yeah.
I only do meta meditation or sensation of the body when I laying down. But with the breath meditation, I just fall asleep because it's so calm.
I see. Then
Sorry, Bante.
avoid the meditation on the breath then. Or another thing you might do, maybe if you put pillows behind to prop up the body, so that maybe the pillows will be soft so that it doesn't hurt the spine. Yeah, I really don't know. Yeah. You have to sort of, but don't do anything that's going to hurt the spine. And if you
Thank you,
find with
Bante.
the breath makes you fall asleep, then just you could do you said sensations in the body you could follow.
Yeah,
Oh, then
yeah.
do that. Do that.
Mm, thank you, Bante.
Okay, so now Eva Jew.
Bante, thank you very much for this guided meditation this afternoon. It was a very wonderful experience for me
Yeah,
because, I read the sutta a lot about arising, vanishing, and in
yeah.
between, but this
Yeah.
is the first time I understand what it means.
Oh, good. Yeah,
Um, especially, people always talk about, there's a gap between, inhale and exhale.
Yeah.
Doing this kind of observation, I can see the gap real clearly.
Yeah.
Okay, but my question is, I think maybe I'm thinking too much. When you observe arising and vanishing, how long is the arising and how long is the vanishing? It's not 1/3, 1/3, 1/3, right?
No, the arising and the vanishing are just like split seconds.
I see.
Yeah, because when you're starting to breathe in, okay. Yeah, but maybe you just don't let it be a little more solid, have a little more duration than just the split second. But let me just try for myself. Yeah, with the beginning of the breath, it could be a little like a little more of a fraction of the breath, not just instantaneous, but it seems, of course, there's a slowdown when you're coming to the end, say, of the in breath. But really what you want to focus on to sharpen the sense of impermanence is that split second of the ending of the breath.
I see. I think, the sensation between inhale, once again, and exhale is different on arising and vanishing.
Yeah. Yeah,
Okay.
that's good, yeah.
And I think probably this takes experience. As far as in the middle, it seems to me that I cannot discern the rhythm. It's just almost like real smooth in my case.
Oh, if
In
it's
the
good,
middle.
okay, that's good. But just keep on paying attention to the movement in the middle phase.
Yes.
And I think as you pay attention, you'll start to see little changes taking place.
Thank you so much. This is wonderful.
Yeah.
As I said that, this is the first time I understood what the sutta was
Yeah.
trying to say.
Yeah. And
Thank
this is my
you.
own sort of interpretation of how to go about it. The sutta just says in the passage that I quoted, contemplating impermanence, one breathes in, contemplating impermanence, one breathes out. But I tried to figure out, like, how does one do that? And then I took that statement that the arising is seen, a vanishing is seen, and then change of what continues is seen, and then apply that to the breath, and it works.
Thank you,
Okay,
Bhante.
okay. So now I see the question from Carrie.
Yes, thank you.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm getting my video on here. Thank you very
Okay.
much.
Okay.
Appreciate all the teachings today quite deeply. I have a couple questions, 2 questions, I think.
Okay.
So the first is, and you talked about how this was a kind of an intense and narrow way focusing of the mind. And so I found it very, very helpful to stay mindful. Like
Yeah.
so it really kept the mindfulness, which was terrific, as well as beginning to see the differences of the breath and therefore seeing the impermanence of each state. So the first question, real basic, is why not do this all the time, or how frequently? And then the second question is, which speaks a little to the previous person's question, is how does the felt sense is very aware if the station of observation is, let's say, the belly or something like that, is very aware of all these changes. And so I'm wondering where we talk about the mind observing versus the felt sense experiencing, for how that fits in.
Okay, let's take each question one at a time. So the first question is, like, how does one do this, like, in everyday life? Is that
What's the recommendation for the frequency or when to
Yeah,
use them?
I would say for one's daily meditation, maybe just do the mindfulness of breathing in the basic mode, just trying to be mindful of in breath, out breath, in breath, out breath. This is more, because this is like a day retreat. And so we started in the morning to build up some force of meditation, and then coming into the afternoon so that there's some sort of power developed through practice earlier in the day. But in the case where you're doing your regular practice, then I think it's best just to develop a stronger mindfulness through observing the simple breath in, out, or if you're at the abdomen, just rising, falling, rising, falling. Okay, then the second question, I'm not quite sure that I got the sense of it.
So to speak a little to what the mind is observing or noticing these, where the breath is or what the breath is doing, how does that connect to the felt sense of the body? Is there a connection there?
Okay, maybe that's going to be answered by the next stage in the meditation I was going to introduce this evening. So maybe that will answer your question. So rather than by answering it verbally, we just do it.
Thank
Okay,
you.
I think that will answer. Okay, I see. Then one more. This will have to be the last one. And this is Jia Huang. I think you're muted. You have to unmute.
Sorry about that. Thank you, Bhante, for the teaching. The practice this afternoon was a very powerful one.
Yeah.
I was very emotional. I was in tears. Just realized that impermanence permeated every second,
Yeah.
nanosecond. And I felt so sad. I
Yeah.
was, I just don't know. I feel like depressed afterwards.
Wow. So what does one
depressed.
do when one feels sad like that? I think one has to, yeah, I think you just have to go on recognizing the truth of impermanence. But this is why we also balance it with a meditation like loving kindness, which gives some kind of joy and happiness to the mind.
That was my question.
Yeah.
What kind of, should I do Buddha Nusati or
Well, Buddha
something to
Nusati also is good. Yeah. Yeah. One
Okay,
has to
great.
sort of balance sometimes if one feels sad, to balance that practice with some other practice that gives joy to the mind.
I did feel the urgency.
Yeah.
I need to
Okay,
go
good. Yeah.
because impermanence everywhere.
Okay.
That's bad. But one quick question. So this breath exercise, is this something to do with the 16 steps of Anapanasati Sutta?
Yeah, it's sort of like jumping to 12, 13, 14, jumping to the 13th step, which is contemplating impermanence when breathes in, contemplating impermanence when breathes out.
Okay, got it. Thank you so much. Appreciate it.
Okay. Okay, so now we can take our sitting position. Going to spotlight. Okay, this will be a short meditation, sort of jumping to the next stage. So again, we're accelerating the practice. So now the afternoon we went from elementary school to high school. And I hope you wouldn't feel a little disconcerted if we enroll you in college. But just let you sort of sit into a college class to see what it's like. Okay, so take your preferred sitting position. Okay. Is my voice coming through?
Yes, Bhante, we can hear
Okay.
you.
Okay. Okay, so first settle in. We do a few minutes simply of basic mindfulness of breathing in the simple way. Just being mindful of the in-breath and the out-breath. Okay, now don't focus on a particular, from the particular post of observation, but just follow the whole body breathing in and breathing out without a narrow point of focus. Okay, now let your mindfulness spread through the body and take in the whole body with a kind of global awareness so that you're mindful of the whole body in the sitting position. And don't be troubled if you can't get the entire body all at once, but just try to just not focus on any particular narrow area, but just being mindful of the body, sitting, and breathing. And as the mindfulness settles into the body, what you will be looking for are like any experiences of the sensations of the body, and see how those bodily sensations are arising and passing, how they're constant change in the bodily sensations. They can be anywhere in the body. Wherever they arise, just note them and observe the sensations and see them arising and passing. And if you find it helpful, you might scan the body, sort of moving down from the head, scanning down through the neck, chest, abdominal region, pelvic region, the sensation of pressure of the buttocks against the seat, or the legs against the seat. Then down the legs, thighs, the lower legs, the feet. So you could deliberately scan a few times and then just settle back into full body awareness, observing whatever sensations take place and noting that they're constantly changing. If you have trouble noting the sensations in the body, then you can just settle into the full body awareness of the in and out breathing. Don't use the narrow focus for the breath, but just feel the whole body. When breathing in, feel the body on its own breathing in. And when you're breathing out, feel the whole body breathing out. You could do that a few rounds of that mindful breathing, and then go back and trying to observe get the global sense of the body, or scan the body and observe the changing sensations within the body. Yeah. As you're observing the sensations in the body, you can have a kind of background awareness that you're breathing in and breathing out. So the center focus, the foreground, would be on the bodily sensations, but there's a kind of background awareness of breathing in and breathing out. And so you could have the light mental note of in, and out with the breath, but you're not focusing in a narrow way on the breath, but the main object of observation are the sensations of the body, trying to note the arising and passing of the sensations. Okay, now as we draw to the end, as we come to the end, I'm going to do this is more like a reflective contemplation on all five aggregates. So we've been focusing on the body, which is the aggregate of material form, rupa, but just sort of reflectively, we contemplate that material form in all of its different manifestations is impermanent, changing, becoming different. Feeling is impermanent, changing, arising and passing. Perceptions, including ideas, are impermanent, always changing, arising and passing away. Volitions, including plans, thoughts, expectations, are impermanent, always changing, arising and passing. Consciousness, that is acts of awareness, is impermanent, always changing, arising and passing. So all five aggregates are impermanent, changing, arising and passing away. And now we're going to connect to the deathless, the unconditioned, nibbana, the unconditioned, doesn't arise. It is unborn, unproduced. It doesn't pass away. It's ever existent, stable, the deathless. The five aggregates are always changing and disintegrating. Nibbana, the deathless, is without disintegration. The five aggregates are subject to constant breaking up and destruction. Nibbana, the deathless, is indestructible. Nibbana is the ultimate state of purity, the ultimate freedom, and poetically, the five aggregates are this shore, the shore full of dangers, harm and danger. Nibbana is the far shore, the other side of the ocean or the river of samsara, the place of security and safety. Nibbana is the island amidst the storm, the shelter, the place of safety, the ultimate refuge, the deathless. Okay, and now you can open your eyes and end the session the way we usually do. Okay, and then we could do a couple of minutes just silently, do the loving kindness meditation for all sentient beings, thinking of all thinking of all beings caught up in this impermanent realm of samsara, subject to all forms of suffering, and then just generate silently the wish, may all beings be well, may they all be happy, may they be safe from harm and suffering. Okay, now we've all been diligently practicing the Dharma through virtually this whole day. So now we're going to take all of the merits that we've generated through this practice, and we'll be sharing the merits with first with the devas, the Dhamma protecting deities, the nagas or dragon spirits, and we could share them with our departed loved ones, relatives, friends, and then with all sentient beings. So I'll recite the verses for the sharing of the merits. Akasata chabumata deva naga mahidika punyantang anumoditva chirang rakantu sasanam. Akasata chabumata deva naga mahidika punyantam anumoditva chirang rakantu desanam. Akasata chabumata deva naga mahidika punyantam anumoditva chirang rakantu mang parang. Dukkha patachani dukkha bhaya patachani bhaya soka patachani soka hantu sabbe pipanino. May those in suffering be free from suffering. May those in fear be free from fear. May those in sorrow be free from sorrow. May all living beings also be thus. And then we bow 3 times to the triple gem. 1, 2, and 3. Okay, so I hope you found these sessions useful.
And a bow to Bhante. Thank you, Bhante.
Okay.
Thank you,
Thank you,
Bhante.
Bhante.
Okay.
Thank you so much,
Very much, Bhante.
Thank you,
useful.
Bhante.
Thank
Be
you,
safe,
Bante.
Bhante.
Okay.
Take
night,
care, Bhante. Be
Bhante.
safe. Have a good night.
Okay.
Thank you,
Take care.
Bhante.
Sleep on well. We'll see you on Wednesday.
Okay.
Thank you,
Yeah.
Bhante.
Namo
Thank you,
Buddhaya.
Bante.
Thank you,
Okay. Take
Bhante.
care.
Be well.
Okay. Keep
Have a good
healthy
one.
and well.
Sana. Thank you, Bhante.
Okay. Take care. Oh yeah, the recordings. Somebody asked about the recordings. The recordings are going into the YouTube channel for Baus. That's Baus, Zhuangyan Monastery. So you go to that YouTube channel, and then there's something called playlists, and then you'll see there's a folder in the playlist called Perceptions That Lead to the Deathless 2024. And so you go there, and then you'll find the recordings that are being placed there. So the previous sessions are already there, and today's recordings should go up. Jason will be back tomorrow. Probably by Monday or Tuesday, they'll be available.
Thank you, Bhante.
Thank you, Bhante.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Okay.
Good night.
Okay. Good night.
Thank you, Bhante.
Good night, Bhante.